How are
Hey,
you?
good. How are you doing? Appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, I'm good. Is that quite late at your place?
It is 5:30 here.
Ah, okay.
So
Not that bad.
yeah, what time is it there?
It's morning. It's 9:30 in the morning.
Oh, all right. You're already on the next day already.
Yeah.
Which
Yes.
which
I
part?
just arrived.
What's that?
Where are you calling from? Australia?
Singapore, right?
Yes. No, in Australia, in
Oh,
Sydney.
it is. Oh, okay.
Which part of Australia?
It's in Sydney.
Are the fires affecting you guys at all, or no? Is that too far?
Yeah, it's a big fire, but it's Sydney is besides the air pollution, there's no not really serious, but it's a city area. But the other bush area is quite serious.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. It looks terrible.
Hmm.
So, Victor, the way I thought this could go is, I'll give you a quick rundown of what we're building. I'll have you tell Prabhav, my co-founder, a little bit about Alpha Wallet since he's not as familiar with it as I am. And then we can jump into the interview. The interview is going to be super simple. It's like 5 questions. It should only take a couple of minutes. And then if there's time, we can talk more about, SimpleID and Alpha Wallet and just what you're doing. Does that sound good?
Sure.
Cool. So just to recap what SimpleID is building, we're building a engagement platform for the Web3 space. So what that means is we're building a way for app developers and founders to communicate both with users in-app and after they've left the app, but we're doing that in a privacy-preserving way. So in-app messaging, email communication, push notifications, those sort of things, except for without tying real world identities to wallet addresses and that sort of thing, trying to keep with the ethos of the blockchain space. So we're launching that on January 22nd, somewhere around there, the week of January 20th. And looking for early feedback on the platform, trying to get as many people in there to give us feedback as we build as possible.
So if I have any questions, should I ask straight away or should I wait you to?
No, go ahead. Yeah, ask as we go.
Yeah, because ourselves we are looking for like a wallet address based messaging protocol, like a Whispers, those kind of protocol, but it's not really working. So I just wondering for SimpleID, you mentioned you can do like a wallet address based kind of communication or push notification.
Yeah.
Is that like a one-way push notification from the business to user, or it's also allowed user to communicate between each other?
Right now, it's a one-way push from the business to the user, but one of the features that we're still exploring and getting feedback from folks like you is that two-way communication. Like how many people want that versus how many just need the one-way push. But is that something that you're interested in? Is the two-way communication or just the one-way push?
Yes, because the messaging, the secure messaging feature is quite important for passing through off-chain transactions. For example, you send a message, send it to the other side. That is quite useful.
Yeah, we'd love to talk more about that. Like maybe even get some of your use cases, and that doesn't have to happen on this call. But we would love to talk about those types of use cases and what you would actually need to achieve that. So before we go on, actually, can you tell Prabhav a little bit about Alpha Wallet and what you guys are building there?
Yes, it's for easy understanding, we do two things. One thing is a tokenization framework called the TokenScript. And the other thing is the Alpha Wallet platform. So you can use TokenScript to do tokenization to tokenize some rights. And then after you tokenize those rights, you need to have a place for user, for consumer business to use those rights, to provide services based on those tokenized rights. And then Alpha Wallet is the platform to allow user to access those tokenized rights. Yeah. So if you
those tokens are NFTs, right?
There's don't have to be.
They don't have to
any
be. Okay.
token. Yeah.
Interesting. Cool. So, and the script allows you to tokenize anything, or what does it allow you to?
It's any rights. So it is like in the smart contract itself. If you write a smart contract, we consider it's only half job done. You also need the other part of the logic, which is for the token, but that is not inside the smart contract. For smart contract, only put in the transaction rules.
I gotcha.
And the other part, like the UI of the token, the behavior, the layout, even the localization, this kind of markup, this kind of description markup information, and also along with the other part of the token logic, which is which cannot be inside the smart contract. For example, we did experiment with electronic car company, which is to tokenize the car ownership, and for the functions to use token to control the car, that is the connect to the IoT devices.
Yeah.
So all those part of logic, although it is linked with your ownership, but that is cannot be run inside the smart contract. It will be run outside.
Got it.
So on the outside part, we have a token script file, which is using token script. You write a file and then use your smart contract key or use your SSL website SSL key to sign the file to make sure the smart contract and the token script file have the same trust anchor and the same security level. And then these two things together, we consider as a full token. And these things is portable, can be used on mobile, website, or whatever place.
That's really interesting. That's a lot more than what I thought you guys did. So that's cool. I like that a lot. So I guess let's jump into the interview. We'll knock out those questions, and then we can, assuming we have some time left at the end of the call, we can talk about what you're doing and what SimpleID is doing. So just to summarize the interview, what our plan here is we're going to compile all these interviews that we're doing with founders in the Web3 space, and we're going to start to launch these as a series of interviews. We're calling it the Web3 Growth Handbook. We're launching that to coincide with the launch of our product. But what we'll do is I will send you the interview after we've written it up and made it all nice and pretty. I'll send it to you before we ever launch it so that you can approve it. You can give me edits if you have edits. And assuming that you're okay with it, we'll launch that and we'll let you know like what day exactly it launches on. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that's all good.
Cool. Well, let's jump into the interview itself then. So the first question, the Web3 space is made up of a bunch of categories, right? They're almost like mini industries. There's gaming, there's wallets, there's there's DeFi. And so the way that founders in each of these categories define growth is different. So I'm curious at Alpha Wallet, how do you guys define growth? What does growth look like to you?
For us, we actually tried the 3 different growing paths. Because as I explained, we provide the tokenization framework and also the user platform. So for us, we need to dealing with the 3 party. We deal with the normal consumer, developer, and also business. Because the business are the people who having the kind of authority to tokenize some of the rights. They are the trust anchor. So at beginning, we focus on developer for one year, but it's no good result because they didn't see like any good example or use cases using this tech framework to do tokenization. So they don't think it can be a success. And then we start focusing on consumer, trying to see whether we can directly using the existing the smart contract already exists and try to make it more user friendly for the current crypto user. So we're focusing on like a DeFi, DAO, crypto earner, and also those game player. We write token script file for those smart contracts to make the user experience for their user better. And this is also not success because the existing crypto user, the number is very limited. And the people who really using smart contracts is an even small group of people. So since the middle of last year, 2019, we start to focusing on token issue. That means those business. So we help them to tokenize the rights they have the authority to tokenize, and then by having their user using this tokenized rights, we consider those users as our user. So it's more like a B2B2C growing path. So it's not like other project more focusing on each individual use case. We're more focusing on providing the tools to enable different use case.
That makes sense. That's a smart play. We see a lot of companies, not just in the Web3 space, but everywhere, starting to focus more and more on B2B rather than B2C. And I think that's probably where most of the money ends up being as well. So you kind of talked about this, but maybe you have more to talk about in this next question. What's been the most difficult part, the hardest part of growing your company so far? Has it been, like finding the right customer, or have you found other issues with trying to grow your company?
I think I think everyone in the industry is facing almost a similar issue, which is the block. I think it comes from blockchain technology itself. It's not like an AI technology or other technology. It's more like an add-on. That means whatever system you put the AI in, then instantly you see benefits. But for blockchain, it's like if I'm the only party I'm a party and I'm the only party using blockchain, there's no benefit at all.
Yeah.
So it's have to be involve multiple party, and if it's involved multiple party, it's become a much more difficult. So that's why when we choose the business to partner with, we try to find within their value chain there's at least 3 party, but not too many. Yeah, and then it is easier.
So as you started your company, though, it sounds like you were focused on growth from the start. Is that true? Did you focus on growing immediately, or did you realize you had to start focusing on growth, after you started building, or was it always a focus for you?
Yeah, you need to after building. For example, we have a backlog of technology development list, which is if we keep the team size as now, it will take us at least 5 years to develop everything. So yeah. So for us, the main challenge is to find we kind of see what is the final result, but we cannot develop all those technology at one go. So we need to try to fit the current market, on the same time try to be focused on our long-term goal. So that is the more difficult part for us. We need to consistently rebalance and changing the priority list.
But I don't know if I don't see it on your website, but like, can you run apps like other dApps in Alpha Wallet?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Run other dApps in Alpha Wallet? Like, does it have a dApp browser?
Yes, there's a dApp browser.
So,
but if
how is that being affected now that Apple and Google have been like shutting down these browsers?
No, it's not real. It's not real. There's some misleading information. Apple is not killing the dApp browser. They just don't allow you to promote any third-party dApps. That means that you can have an empty dApp browser without any suggesting list. That is totally fine, and they are okay. But as long as you put on like a suggest list, and inside those lists there's dApp which is not developed by yourself, then they not allowed you to do this.
Gotcha.
So we actually facing this issue 12 months ago. Okay. Apple contact us, asked us to call them, and then we called them. They told us what we need to do. Otherwise, we have to remove the dApp browser, and we followed their instruction to make the make a totally empty that browser. And for the past 12 months, it's all good.
Good. Well, that's good news.
Yeah.
So you talked a lot about the challenge of, blockchain itself as a construct is a challenge, right? Because you have to have multiple people using the technology. And so you're building technology while also trying to gain market share. What do you think needs to happen to get more people interested in blockchain, which I assume would then help you grow your company and the entire industry would start to grow? What do you think needs to happen to overcome that barrier to growth?
I think that, I don't know, maybe I say this, some people may not be that happy, but I just want to be direct. I think the more thing is focusing on the token itself instead of dApp. dApp is just like an application using some tokenized information or using some tokenized rights. If you don't have a rights to tokenize, if you don't have a value to tokenize, there won't be useful application. There will be only dApps focusing on existing rights, which is the crypto native rights, right, like a Ethereum cryptocurrency itself. So that's why it's currently you can see DeFi is kind of popular, and some crypto games is okay, and DAO is growing, but there's no other things. So that means we will need to try to bring in more kind of like a outside value or outside rights into the blockchain world, and then this market will grow in. Yeah, so my suggestion is focusing on tokenization first.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. I mean, especially from what you learned as you were going through your different customers. You started with developers, you started with regular users, and then when you got to the business side of things and realized that tokenizing rights that they have authority to tokenize, that was the main play for you. So I think what you just said makes a ton of sense.
Because we have a quite interesting experience for the team. So like my CTO used to develop Bitcoin, and he invest Bitcoin in 2011. And after that, after Ethereum come up, before he did some altcoin based on Bitcoin, and then after Ethereum, he did several archetypes for those ICO projects, and then he joined the largest bank in Australia, the Commonwealth Bank. And inside the bank, we actually did more than 20 different proof of concept based on smart contract, based on blockchain. So those are all like a real application which can add value, but not add value to bank itself. So that's why after POC, they just put it in the safe. They don't use it. And with this whole experience, we have a very, very good understanding of blockchain application, what it can achieve. And it's already proved it can achieve. So that's why we want to focusing on tokenization.
Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense. Well, for this next question, you kind of mentioned this before we started the interview with your two-way messaging when we were talking about that. But what tools do you wish existed to help you with growth? Is that messaging a tool that would help you with growth, or are there other tools you wish existed to kind of help you?
Messaging is definitely have to have part. That is highlighted on our technology developing list, but we just haven't decided which protocol to use. Because at beginning, when we start 2 years ago, we thinking we wait until Whisper become more reliable and well developed, and then we can implement it. But it's not the case. So we are currently also looking at the Signals protocol, although it's not very decentralized, but it's secure enough. Yeah. Because these things is this thing is not only allow user to send normal message between each other. More importantly, they can send message between each other. That means a present transaction and all those all the functions, all the features related to those pre-signed transactions.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something important.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. So the last question I have for you is, we are now in 2020. So what is your prediction for growth across the entire Web3 space for this year?
I don't know how to predict, but I hope the Web3 space, the people in Web3 space focus more on like the other benefit Web3 can introduce to the user instead of just focusing on privacy. Because I don't think privacy can be a real selling point to the normal consumer. But the frictionless market and the convenience comes from integration. These are the benefits people can feel, and they will value those benefits more. For example, after you tokenize some rights, then each token will kind of become an open API. That means any other services can connect it through this token. And this will move the whole integration platform back to the consumer side. So that means that you no longer integrate all the services through Facebook. Instead, you integrate everything on your own platform through all the tokens you have. So this will bring next level of user experience to all the people. It's super convenient.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, that was the last question. This is great. Like I said, I'll compile this, I'll clean it up, write it up for you, and then I'll send it over so that you can approve it. So we've got about 5 minutes here. What I do want to keep talking about, your use cases, and now I won't say we definitely will be able to solve those use cases, but I'm curious. So if you can go to our website, if you go to simpleid.xyz, there is, I think it's right at the top, there is a sign up field. Now we haven't launched, so this is just gonna let me know, it's gonna let Prabhav know, it's gonna let our other co-founder know that these are people we need to follow back up with. And for you, I want to specifically follow back up and talk about these use cases. So if you can pop your email address in there, that will be super helpful for us going forward.
So it is simpleid.org.
SimpleID.xyz.
Okay.
Yeah, so the other thing that would be interesting is, as you interact with other companies in this space, if you come across any that seem like they would benefit from in-app messaging, email communication in a privacy preserving way, or in a just a more decentralized way, if you just pass them along to us, let us know about them. We'd love to talk to them. The interview series, we're wrapping that up, so we probably won't have time to interview other people, but we still want to talk to them. So if you think of anybody, it would be awesome to talk to them. And then, like I said, if you send your email through there, we'll stay in touch and talk about your use cases and see what can be done.
So the SimpleID is more focusing on the features to help project growing. That means help project to reach more people, to engage with more user.
Yeah, it's both retention, right? Like once a user has come into an application, it's giving apps the ability to communicate, keep those people engaged and coming back to the app. It's things that we saw that in the Web3 space, app developers are not doing, but in the Web2 space, it's like a normal thing, right? It's normal for a Web2 app to have an in-app message or to send an email. There's literally no relationship building being done in most Web3 apps. And so we're trying to build this in a way that matches the ethos of blockchain so that people are more excited, developers in the space are more excited about actually building those relationships.
Mm.
But your point about the messaging and the associating with wallet addresses is super interesting to us because we have developed a mechanism where, like I said, we disassociate the real world identities from the wallet addresses, but still enable communication with those people. So that's why I was interested in technology. To learn more about your use cases and see if there's an application of that technology.
And the other part is interested is you said on your website you said extend user analysis and re-engagement capability to smart contract on-chain interactions. So do you do like a event-based notification? So that means whatever happens inside the smart contract, then you can take it out and put it as a notification. If it's related to the user, then you can send notification to the user.
That's exactly right. That's one of the main use cases of what we're building is to do that.
Okay, that is super useful because we are also in the token script design. We also need to have event support. That is on the token level event support. That means if any situation changed with the token, then the user should be notified.
Yeah.
The most simple cases like the CDP, if you're about to reach the liquidation limit, then you should be notified.
Yep, so one of the reasons why we really focused in on this is that type of use case, right? Like we saw all these DeFi apps that, people really needed to make moves. They had to change their position. They had to, migrate positions, and they were being notified on Twitter or on Telegram or Discord, right? And it was just this thing that was like, not everybody's going to see that, and there needs to be a better way. So that's what we started building, and it sounds like you've got some really interesting use cases that would help us develop the right features going forward.
Okay, all good. I think it's we will need to have some discussion later after I learn a bit more on the technical level.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can always send over additional technical information. Once we have our beta launch the week of the 20th, you'll be able to play around with the platform as well. But I definitely want to continue talking with you and have those discussions.
Oh, good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate the time, and I'll send the interview over to you once we've got it written up, okay?
Cheers.
Awesome. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.